Right now at Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory, save 50 to 70% off everything in stores and online. That's right, 50 to 70% off everything. Celebrate the 4th with dresses from $19.99 at Banana Republic Factory. And at Gap Factory stores, tees start at $4.99. Plus, save an extra 40% off clearance. Sale ends Tuesday. Search our store locator for your nearest Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory store or shop us online.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, it's Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to No BS Hiring Advice Radio. This is a time where I spend about 15 minutes talking with you about how to do an even better job of hiring staff. Because to me, hiring doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be painful, or even take that long for that matter. You know, I tell job hunters that the skills needed to find a job are different than the skills needed to do a job. But it's not quite as simple from an HR perspective. Lord knows, having been in recruiting for more than 40 years, there's so many different issues and puzzles and temptations from a staffing perspective that I find it far more complicated. But I've learned to do certain things and advise clients about certain things. And I think they can be helpful to you as well. So today's show has two sponsors. The first one is Audible. And if you go to audibletrial.com/thebiggamehunter and sign up for a free trial, you'll be able to get a download of a free book of your choice. My second sponsor is consultingassignments.com. Now, consultingassignments.com is a site where you can find and fill consulting assignments, full-time consulting positions, temp to perm, and contract to hire opportunities anywhere in the world completely free. Posting a job, posting a resume is free. Searching jobs and resumes is also free, as is the ability to contact one another. The only thing the site charges for is if you want to feature more than one job. If you feature one job, it's $10 for 30 days. If you're going to feature more than one position, it goes down to as little as $2 for 45 days. So again, that site is consultingassignments.com. Now, I've had the idea about doing a show for hiring millennials for a while. And it stems from my other show, Job Search Radio, which I broadcast on webtalkradio.net. I interviewed someone named Amanda Abea, and Amanda did a show with me about millennials and job search for millennials. And I decided that what I ought to do is also do a staffing show about millennials as well. Now, to me, millennials have a bad rap. I'm from that baby boomer generation that grew up in the 60s. And a lot of the things that are said about millennials were said about the boomers at that time. They'll never conform. They just want to change the world. How will they ever do a job that we want to hire them for? You've got your own version of that, I'm sure, if you're in that generation. And I'll simply say that millennials are facing a tough road, as you well know. Many of them are finding it difficult to even find jobs, of course, unless they want to work part-time at a Starbucks. But when all is said and done, for you as an HR professional, a hiring manager, or a small business owner, I want to offer you a different perspective. And that is, unless you start figuring out how to hire millennials, you're going to be in deep kimchi not too long from now. Because the reality is, the boomers like me are going to retire and die off pretty soon. Who's going to buy your business? Who's going to be working at some of these mid-level jobs? Because remember, in a few years, you need to fill mid-level positions. And you're not hiring juniors to grow into these jobs. And you're going to start running into the problem of, where do I find the talent far worse than what you have right now? Think of it as a systemic problem. The population of your organization is older and slower than it needs to be going forward. And you need to start planting seeds now in order to have the people in place to step into leadership roles. And if no one is hiring them, where are you going to buy them later on? Do you think you'll be able to get them cheap on Elance from overseas? I don't think so. I think what you're going to need to do is take the risk and figure out millennials that you can hire that can fit into your corporate culture pretty well, and then train them in order to do a spectacular job. Now, when interviewing millennials, they are culturally different than older people are. And again, I just want to acknowledge I'm 63, and I'm tough on people. When I've trained salespeople for organizations I've worked for, I'm a no BS kind of guy. I demand what I want, and they either give it to me or I throw them out. That's what I've done in the past. Now, you may not need to be quite as tough. Often what happened is in the organizations I worked for, I was not involved with the hiring. I was presented with an employee and said, here, make them work. Now, you're involved in the assessment and evaluation process. You've got it easier than I did. So here's what I'd like to suggest that you do. Number one is, be direct with them during the interview. Don't sugarcoat anything about the job. Lay it out to them as directly as possible so that they've got a clear idea exactly what's going to be expected of them. If they don't like it, they're not going to take it. That's fine. You've alleviated yourself of headaches. But what ultimately is going to happen is you're going to find yourself with the people who are willing to keep their nose to the grindstone, understand the expectations of what the job is, and then they're going to be able to go out and just simply do what you want them to do. And isn't that what you want from any new hire? Especially, the less experienced people. You want individuals who will do what you want, do what's expected of them, learn as they grow along in the job, and are able to step up in class as time progresses. So again, the first thing is to be completely honest with them during the interview, and don't hold back. Now, this generation, the millennials, have an enormous air of entitlement around them. They start a job, they have the expectation that they've mastered it in 2 weeks and that they should be running a department in 3. Again, part of the honesty department is laying out what realistic career pathing is for them so that they know that they're going to have to be in for a longer slog than their air of entitlement makes them believe that they have. And if you smell any sort of expectation or entitlement in their personality, they're not your person. When all is said and done, they need to be individuals who are going to hang in there and learn what you need them to do. And if your, what I'll call BS detector goes off, don't hire them. I also want you to think very simply about looking for someone that's hungry, someone who is going to put in effort, who really cares about doing great stuff and doesn't just simply walk in, prance in, whatever language you want to use, and has the expectation that they don't have to work hard. You want people who are going to tough it out and you can make demands up. Because, frankly, being able to work under pressure is part of what corporate life is these days, isn't it? So don't be nice. Nice isn't going to help them. Nice isn't going to help you. So you want to do things that allow you to determine whether they're hungry. Next thing is, I want you to shake them up. When you're interviewing them, I want you to lay yourself out there, not on the first interview, but on the second interview. I want you to see you not just simply as a nice person, but someone who's nice, but who's tough, and is firm, and is fair. You follow? You don't have to be a beast in the interview, but you might do something in the interview that's going to make them a little uncomfortable and see if they hang in. scare them off, because not every day is going to be a perfect day, is it? You want them to understand that you have pressures, you have demands placed upon you. So you want to ensure that they can hang in there through it. And if you scare them off, better to do it now than later on, right? Because later on, it's way more costly. When you find someone and you decide to hire them, you want to put yourself in the position of being a mentor to them. Now, basically what you're doing is being the surrogate mom or dad for them. And I know you may say to yourself, I don't want to be their parent. They've already got a parent. Well, think mentor. What does a mentor do? They place demands on their protege, encourages them, gives them tough love, takes them aside, and teaches them what they need to in order to be successful. And for you as a hiring manager, one of the great attributes that you can have is being the person who develops the talent that other people want. And from your standpoint, and from the millennial standpoint, is you're the person who develops the talent so that they want to leave the nest in a good way, as opposed to walking out in a snit. So it's part of sculpting them properly in order to be successful in the organization. Again, think big picture. You're not just simply hiring them for today, but what you're doing is hiring them for the survival of your organization in the future. Because again, the boomers are going to disappear in one way or another, and these are the folks who are ultimately going to replace them. How are you going to bring them into the organization and help them develop into leaders, right? And I'll also say that there are some people, everyone is getting encouragement to look at people's LinkedIn profiles and to research them on the web. And, there are some folks I know I've interviewed who look me up and they say stuff along the way that leaves me pretty uncomfortable, because I think they've kind of overstepped their bounds. That sort of inappropriate familiarity is something to kind of ward yourself off from and ensure that you don't bring on someone who, it just makes you feel uncomfortable to be around them because they know a little too much or think they know a little too much. So those folks reject. So again, just to sum up, you need millennials. No ifs, ands, buts about it. You want to be ridiculously honest with them in the course of the interview. You don't want to get anyone on who has you perceive as being entitled. You want to see if they've got that hunger, that knot in the pit of their stomach in order to be successful. You want to, kind of make them uncomfortable in the interview. You want to mentor the good ones and help them in their development. And finally, in the course of the interview, I want to remind you that if they make you feel uncomfortable because they've overstepped their bounds, because some of them are prone to do, don't hire them. So that's my tip for this show about hiring millennials. What I also want to say is, if you need help with staffing, I've done professional recruiting for more than 40 years. I've done work in 49 out of 50 U.S. states, plus several Canadian provinces. My work has been in IT, accounting and finance, engineering, Wall Street operations, and HR primarily, but I've also done work in manufacturing as well. If you need help filling positions, I forgot to mention sales and marketing. If you need help filling positions, reach out to me at Jeff Altman at thebiggamehunter.us. Let me know how to reach you, when would be a good time. I can't guarantee I can reach you at that time, but let me know who you are, how to reach you, nature of the positions you need help with. I'd love to help you with staffing. I also want to say that I've got great content to help you at my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us. Come over to the website and go exploring. And while you're there, sign up for a complimentary subscription to No BS Hiring Advice Easy. I publish it twice monthly with advice for HR professionals, hiring managers, and small business owners to help you make even better staffing decisions. It's a $399 value I'm giving away for free. And while you're there, go exploring. There's lots of content to help you, whether you're trying to hire or you're trying to, or you're looking for a job yourself. So, lastly, I hope you found this show helpful. I'll be back next week with more no BS hiring advice. So this is Jeff Altman. Hope you have a great day. Take care.
Right now at Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory, save 50 to 70% off everything in stores and online. That's right, 50 to 70% off everything. Celebrate the 4th with dresses from $19.99 at Banana Republic Factory. And at Gap Factory stores, tees start at $4.99. Plus, save an extra 40% off clearance. Sale Tuesday. Search our store locator for your nearest Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory store or shop us online. Right now at Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory, save 50 to 70% off everything in stores and online. That's right, 50 to 70% off everything. Celebrate the 4th with dresses from $19.99 at Banana Republic Factory. And at Gap Factory stores, tees start at $4.99. Plus, save an extra 40% off clearance. Sale Tuesday. Search our store locator for your nearest Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory store or shop us online.